Hey kids, welcome back, and it's me again, Mr. Terrence here. So today in this video, I'm gonna talk about the solutions for Fun Math Practice Day 4. So these two questions are actually related to the logical reasoning. Now let's move to the question 1. Father came home and found that one of his children had eaten the whole cake he put in the fridge. He asked each of his children who did it, and their responses are shown below. So Andy says Cindy ate the cake. Bob says Andy ate the cake. Cindy says Bob is lying. So it's not Andy here. David says it was not Cindy who ate the cake, which means it's not Cindy based on David's dialogue. Eric says I did not eat the cake. So if only two of the children were telling the truth, who ate the cake? So these questions, we actually need a table. We really need a table where, based on each scenario of each of them ate the cake, and to calculate how many people telling the truth. So for example, let's start with Andy. So if Andy ate the cake, it means Andy is lying. And what about Bob? Bob is telling the truth. Cindy is lying. And David, what about David? David is correct, and Eric is also telling the truth. So based on this first scenario, there are three people telling the truth, which means definitely not Andy ate the cake, because we have to find out only two of the children telling the truth. So it has to be in this truth, only two people. All right. So what if Bob ate the cake? If Bob ate the cake, Andy is lying. Then Bob is also lying, and Cindy probably correct, because probably telling the truth, because it's not Andy. And David is also telling the truth, Eric as well. So there are a total of three people telling the truth if Bob ate the cake, which is not true as well. So the third scenario, if Cindy ate the cake. If Cindy ate the cake, Andy is telling the truth, and Bob is lying. When Bob is lying, then Cindy is telling the truth. And David says it's not Cindy. Should be incorrect, because Cindy ate the cake, and he said not Cindy. So David is lying. For Eric said he did not eat the cake, so it probably is Cindy as well. Based on Cindy's ate the cake scenario, there are a total of three people telling the truth, so definitely not Cindy as well. Now for David, if David ate the cake, then Andy is lying. Bob is also lying as well. So when Bob is lying, then Cindy is telling the truth. David says it was not Cindy who ate the cake, which is not Cindy, then it is telling the truth. Eric is also telling the truth. So there are a total of three people telling the truth if David ate the cake. So this scenario won't happen as well. So the last scenario, is it correct? Let's find out. So if Eric ate the cake, means Andy is lying, and Bob is also lying as well. When Bob is lying, then Cindy is telling the truth. David say it's not Cindy. Okay, when it's not Cindy, probably correct. I mean, telling the truth. But Eric say, I did not eat the cake. He is lying. Right? Based on this scenario, there are only two people telling the truth. So Eric is the one who ate the cake. This scenario is happening because based on this scenario, only two people are telling the truth. So as the conclusions, Eric ate the cake. Now let's move to the question 2. Susan, Lina, Michelle, and Winnie are comparing their weight. Susan says, I am the lightest. Lina says, I am not as light as Susan, but someone is heavier than me. Michelle says, I am not as heavy as Lina, but someone is lighter than me. Winnie says, I am the heaviest. So if one of them is lying, rank their weight starting with the lightest. So children, this question we can't use the table as the previous question anymore because we have to rank. We have to rank them from the lightest. Now let's go through one by one of the dialogue. So if Susan is telling the truth where she is the lightest. So let's have one people here, assuming it's Susan, then it's supposed to have 3 more people on her right side. If start from the left is the lightest. So for Lina, Lina says, I'm not as light as Susan, but someone is heavier than me. It means what? She could be here or here, because no matter what, she's not the heaviest and she's not the lightest. For Michelle, I'm not as heavy as Lina, but someone is lighter than me. Same, because she also couldn't be the lightest and the heaviest. For Winnie, if Winnie is telling the truth, then she will be the heaviest. All right? So based on this 4 summary, what we need to do is to have this diagram. Now, if Susan is lying, so start from the first one. If Susan is the liar, right? She's lying. Is it possible? No, it's not possible, because if she is lying, then nobody can be the lightest. Can you find out from this? Can you compare this 4 summary? So definitely Susan won't be the liar. And same goes to the Winnie as well. So Winnie also couldn't be the liar, because if Winnie is lying, then no one can be the heaviest. Now there's only 2 people that we can sort it out to find out who's the liar. Now, no matter what, Susan's will be from here. Here is the lightest. Okay? And here will be the heaviest. So Susan, no matter what, will be the lightest. So we have 2 based on these 2 scenarios. And Winnie is always the heaviest. Now let's move to the scenario where Lina is lying. So if Lina is lying, then Michelle telling the truth, where I'm not as heavy as Lina, which means she's supposed to be lighter than Lina. Okay, so Michelle will be here and Lina will be here. But someone is lighter than me, which is Susan. But this scenario couldn't happen. Can you realize based on this ranking, it seems like Lina also telling the truth. You see, no, Susan's. She's not as light as Susan, which means she's supposed to be heavier than Susan. And someone is heavier than me. Hey, she's not lying based on this. So there is a conflict. So when there is a conflict, this scenario won't happen, which means Lina is not the liar. Now let's go to Michelle. So if Michelle is lying, Lina says, I'm not as light as Susan. So Lina's here. But someone is heavier than me. So if someone is heavier than me, probably we just put Michelle. Hey, let's check if Michelle is really lying in this scenario. I'm not as heavy as Lina. Hey, she's supposed to be lighter than Lina if she's telling the truth. But if she lied, then she will be heavier than Lina. And someone is lighter than me. So either one of these informations is fake, then she's lying. Okay? So there is only one liar, which is Michelle. And we know this ranking is start from Susan, Lina, Michelle, and Winnie. So as a conclusion, Michelle is lying, and their weights rank from lightest. It's supposed to be lightest. It's supposed to be lightest, okay? Not the lightning. There's no lightning, okay? Okay, no, for if let's say from lightest is Susan, Lina, Michelle, and Winnie. Okay, so that's all for today's explanations. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.